Yo, Chris.
Yo.
Knock, knock.
Knock, knock again. Who's there?
It's me, Mario.
That's crazy.
I told you I wasn't gonna like it, bro. I told you. Hey, but welcome back to another episode of the Why I'm Geek show with your homies G and ChrisyLite. This is episode 92. 92 of them things, brother. And today, obviously, we're gonna be talking about the Super Mario Bros. Movie. One of my most anticipated movies of this year, just because it looked clean, bro. It looked clean from the freaking jump. And I'm just go ahead and say it, bro. I know we usually wait till the end to get these ratings or whatever, but this is 10 out of 10 for me. That's just, I have to say it. I have to. I don't, the nostalgia, the world, the animation, I will watch whatever network or streaming platform this movie comes on, because they just opened up a whole new world of possibilities, and just like what you expect from these legacy brands. You know, like they didn't put out no dud like Sonic did at first, and then everybody got mad. They knew, oh, we need to go and mess with Illumination. They gon' get us right. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my early take. I know, y'all, I know, but that's just how I feel. Just how I feel. But Chris, what did you think going into that? I know I just went crazy just now, but I just had to say it because I'm putting my cape on for this one.
This movie looks crazy good. For an animation movie, I thought it looked right on the money, and it kind of felt like they finally did Mario some justice, because some Nintendo IPs you think would already have these big time movies, and
Right.
you talk about it all the time, franchises, everything's trying to be a franchise. I mean, Mario already has a whole bunch of games and a whole bunch of different zones and areas and themes that they can work off of. So it was really great to finally see a good Mario film on the big screen. And we almost saw it in 3D. We probably should have, but our theater didn't have like the big screen version.
Mm-hmm.
So we saw it in big screen, just 2D.
Yeah.
And it looked absolutely amazing.
Like I could have watched that joint twice. Because I was just like,
and the runtime was
really
much
good.
lower, so it was really good.
Yeah, the pacing was great, and it just brought the whole Mario like universe to life, bro. But speaking of life, we got to talk about that cast, bro. The cast, the voice actors for this movie. You had everybody from Jack Black to what's her name? Dang, I don't got it up.
Anya Taylor-Joy.
That's it. She had 3 names, bro. I knew it was her as Peach. Obviously Chris Pratt as Mario. And just a whole host of what do you call it? Name brand names? No. Household names.
Oh, okay.
It's like if you've seen it, you know exactly who it is. And they actually sounded really like good. Like I already knew Jack Black was gonna go crazy for like as Bowser, but I was super nervous initially.
I didn't even know he was Bowser. I did not know.
You couldn't tell from the trailer? I knew from the trailer.
No, I
knew
did
from
not.
the trailer. I was like,
and then at the end, I was like, oh, it's Jack Black. I'm like, this makes so much sense. Like,
yeah,
it just hit.
School
It
Rock.
just hit yeah. I was like, oh yeah, that's definitely a Jack Black character. Now that I think about it.
Yeah. And then Luigi was great as well, and who else? Oh, Toad. Toad was good. And just like a whole host of like interesting voices for these little baby characters, like the King of the Penguins had like such a bravado type of voice, but then he's just a little tiny guy. Like it was just good all around when it comes to that. But one thing I had a question about, like as far as like how this movie was going to work, was like the real world aspects to it, because at this point I don't think it's a real world and a fake world. I just think it's different universes essentially. even though they never really come out and say like, oh, this is, the Mario universe, or like this is a separate thing. They just say the name of all the islands and stuff like that, So connecting those two was like my probably my biggest question going into this, because it's just like, Mario is Mario. Like, we don't really know Mario for real world being a plumber, like that's just not a thing. So like, what did you think of like that connection and how they kind of set up this whole movie from the jump?
I mean, I really love it because when you think about Mario and Mario games, I mean, you don't play Mario games for the storyline. I
Yeah.
mean, you're Bowser done captured the princess and you're gonna go
Again.
save her.
Yeah.
So you're gonna jump through a bunch of worlds and that's the game.
Hmm.
So it was just really cool to really connect the plumber storyline. How are they plumbers from Brooklyn?
Hmm.
And somehow they're now in the Mushroom Kingdom
Yep.
attempting to save Peach. So many questions always whenever you play video games that sometimes don't get answered, but you're not in it for that anyway. So
Hmm.
to see it in movie format, have some type of explanation, have some Mario backstory with the family and him kind of being a disappointment a little bit and feeling
Yeah.
like he's dragging his brother down. I mean, all of that was just really great because we grew up on Mario, and we even had movies in the past
Hmm.
that are not that great,
Yeah.
and it just finally feels like we get the childhood Mario that we remember with the actual good movie, and
Right.
the story makes sense. It's a nice, clean, easy to understand storyline. How did Mario get from Brooklyn to the Mushroom Kingdom and everything? And now I got to go save my brother from Bowser. Like, I just
Mm.
think they really thought it through, and it's a great way to finally bridge,
The
like you
gap.
said, a plumber from
Yeah.
Brooklyn
Right.
becoming Super Mario.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a perfect take, bro. I mean, cause like, they were able to fit like all of that lore. I don't know how many years it's been, you know, um, as far as like how long Mario's been a thing, into like,
35?
it's at
I
least
don't
30,
know.
bro. It's at least 30.
It's
It's up
definitely
there.
30.
It's at least, yeah. And they fit all that lore into like an hour and a half movie, to where this is like the perfect stepping stone for any one of these other characters to have a movie. And they just, it's like it's so seamless in the transition of how they do it, because literally, like you said, like they're plumbers that's like trying to start their business. They get their first job and they fold, you know. Worst first job. And then they see that the city is what needs them. And it's like, oh, it's time for us to be real heroes. And that's, how they essentially get to the Mushroom Kingdom through a magic pipe.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, bro. So like, that's as good as like you can get to me as far as like explaining things. But like you said, like one of the things that I really loved about this movie was Mario and Luigi's like brotherhood, right? Because Mario's the big brother and Luigi's the little brother. And Mario's always sticking up for Luigi, even though like Luigi's always there, like, and has Mario's back and trusts him. So be able to see them two throughout the movie, like separately defend each other, or like when they're not together, like just be like super focused on like, all right, how do we get back? I know Mario saved me. Um, I got to do whatever it takes. Forget what you talking about. Type beat. Like, this is, I'm here to get my brother, and it was really able to build that bond to where when you finally get those pivotal moments later on in the movie, it just like hits even harder. Um, so like one of the other questions that I was having was like, how were they going to, kind of explain the powers and the magic, and like, like those game mechanics that we all know and love in the games, and bring that to the movie screen without it being like press A to do this and press B to do that type thing. And there still was moments in there where we saw those little Easter eggs of things like that. So it was super cool to see that. What was some of your favorites that you can remember?
I mean, one of my favorites is definitely when they first try the mini mushroom.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it just reminds me of all the times when a new item came out or
Yeah.
uh the I just recently beat Mario Odyssey last year,
Okay.
and it was just really cool to see like the cat Mario. I think that's from
Mm-hmm.
4D World. The cat Mario and then the raccoon Mario on screen because growing up, like that's not a thing, but
Yeah.
later on in the Mario games, it's like a mega staple, like, oh, Cat Mario, Raccoon
Right.
Mario. These are always going to be in the games forever. So probably my favorite was the mini because it's one of the first ones I can remember where I was like,
Yeah.
yo, what am I doing now?
Yeah.
Like we went from powering up, now I'm powering down. And
Yeah.
that was when I was a kid. So I like the mini one.
Okay. Okay. I like the like cuz like you said like OG Mario, once you got the fireball Mario, like
Yeah.
you were good. You know what I'm saying? Compare
Yeah.
other than like the stars, which was rare, right? But like anytime you could consistently get that fireball
Firefly.
one, yeah, firefly joint without dying and continue to the next one, he's like, oh, I'm Gucci. So like when, obviously just seeing it, subtly being used initially by Peach and then fully used later on by Donkey Kong, I was like,
Yeah.
yo, I never thought I would see something like that on screen. And then honestly, it was like the movement, Mario's movement, because it was so reminiscent of like how he actually moves in the games, and the
Yeah.
sound effects that go with it is still there. So like all that nostalgia is hitting you at one time, and
Yeah.
then you get the flag, and that's how you win. And then last thing I want to talk about that part was the fact that Mario hates mushrooms. Who would have thought?
Yeah. I
Who
love
would
it.
have thought, bro? I never thought like, yo, like eating a mushroom was just like how he did it. I don't know. I just never like
Yeah.
putting two and two together, but just
Like,
thinking
kinda
like,
does he even like mushrooms? Because all you care about is,
yeah,
"Yo, go grab that mushroom, we dying over here."
right. Like I need to get right. So seeing that and then, you know, how he gets taller after when he eats the regular mushroom. Um was just like, oh man, like we're here. Like it was just a really cool thing to see. And then, once we get past that, the pretty much like the movie starts. You know what I'm saying? We get to see initially Bowser starting to make his campaign across all the different worlds because he finally got the star, the superstar, and we find out his goal of getting Peach, which is obvious, right? But what's not so obvious is a character like Bowser being, I'm sorry, y'all, simp. It's
Oh, no.
I'm
A
sorry.
simp.
I'm sorry, bruh. It's just is what it is. But I don't think it's his detriment. I think it makes him more of a lovable character because it's just like they're two polar opposites, and he just like with Jack Black, it's just he leans into it, and it's just super funny, especially when it comes to the musical scenes and him singing his heart out for Peach that don't even like want anything to do with him, right? But he just obviously like he's so delusional that he thinks like once I get this, oh, we're gonna take over the world and do all this stuff. So like the plot, like you said, was never really in question of like what's going to happen. It's just like what are we going to see on our journey to get there, and they really was able to like develop each one of these worlds, and we got to see it change over time where we look at the maps like that they had and stuff like that where it was literally like the video game, and once you basically take over a place, that person's themes get put on there, and then you can see it like slowly progress as we continue going on. So that was freaking dope, bro, and I love that. I feel like I want to know some of the things that like you like felt like stood out in this movie, that maybe I didn't see or like just wasn't as apparent because I just loved everything. So
I mean, you kinda hit on the main thing that stood out for me was Bowser's like a lovable character.
Hmm.
And the one thing about like Bowser that I really loved in the movie was it's kind of one of those things where we never know what bad guys really do.
Yeah.
Like when they're not being the bad guy. Like we saw
Right.
Bowser be a bad guy in the very first scene,
Hmm.
take over a kingdom, burn it down, and say his plot. But in the meantime, while that plot's getting executed, like I love seeing like what's going on at the headquarters of the bad guys. Like, what are
Yeah.
they thinking? And
Right.
Bowser's main thing is he's simping over Peach. And
Yeah.
it's the only obvious answer because we've played multiple games where this dude is
Yeah.
still after this princess. And it's just like how many times you have to kidnap the girl
Right.
for you to understand that she don't want you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then not
Exactly.
only that, he's jealous of just the sight of Mario is like, "Oh, does she find him attractive?" And
Right.
then Luigi's like,
Like, I
something
don't
like,
know.
uh, "I would if she has good taste," or something like that, and
Yeah.
it makes Bowser go crazy, and I'm just like, it's the only explanation because
Hmm.
he's clearly in love with Peach, and he's all his plots to take over or capture her is always to marry her, and even Odyssey,
Right.
that's the main thing. It's like Bowser's wedding. So finally on screen, we get confirmation this dude be simping left
Yeah.
and right while Mario's going on the journey. Like he's trying to
Yeah.
convince her, give her some flowers,
Right.
sweet talk her. And I just love it because it just makes so much sense. And it does turn Bowser from like a menacing bad guy to like
Yeah.
a, a lovable villain.
Right.
Like I don't even hate Bowser. I'm kind of just like,
Yeah. I don't
dang,
hate
this
him either.
man
Yeah.
said, "You don't want to marry me? All right, Mushroom Kingdom, kaboom!
Yeah.
It's about to be gone." Like quick plan, good
Right.
villain. Ah, I love
Yeah.
what they did with Bowser. I'm really glad that's the direction Jack Black and the director took with him.
Yeah. And then you add like the henchman to it as well. Like, I don't know, man.
Oh,
I
the
don't
Shy
know.
Guy's crazy.
Yeah, the Shy Guys was lit. That happened earlier on. Because like I want to know in the comment section, random question, right? I know it's not really off topic, but it's a little off topic. Who do y'all choose in Mario Kart? Now, first for me, I always choose Yoshi. But if I can't get Yoshi, I do Shy Guy. I get Shy Guy. Um, but the black Shy Guy. I just gotta make sure I say that because that's the one I get specifically. Um, but after I say this, Chris, let me know what you think. But the um the way that they contrast Bowser being obsessed with Peach and then Mario kind of just being the oblivious type, because at this point Mario just wants to really be a hero. Like he really just is worried about that. They didn't really spend too much time trying to ship Mario and Peach, like regardless of what anybody else says. um and I really like that aspect of it because it just allows those characters to really shine in that light without it being like your typical um character tropes that we're used to in these movies and games and stuff like that. So I really like that approach with it. And then you know just we got to actually see Mario Kart too. So like that was fire. So who you be rocking with in Mario Kart, and then we'll get into Donkey
Oh,
Kong.
I, so when I really heavy started playing Mario Kart, it was when Double Dash came out. So I
Okay.
love Baby Mario. Like
Oh
Baby
my gosh.
Mario, if it's available, I always pick Baby Mario.
Yeah.
But it's normally Mario or Baby Mario.
Mm.
And I'm glad we got a cameo with Baby Mario in it because I was
Yeah.
like, no, there go the guy that be coming in first. There you go. But I'm really glad they did do a Mario Kart scene.
Yeah.
By the trailer, I assumed that they were gonna have a Mario Kart scene.
I thought it was gonna be an
Uh,
end credit thing. Like I thought it was just like them riding to the sunset. Like that's what I
yeah,
thought it
that's the
was.
only thing I was nervous about. I was
Yeah.
like, it just seems like there's enough there to have a Rainbow Road and the carts that you
Hmm.
gotta do a Mario Kart scene. But it could have been like what you're saying. We're just
Yeah.
gonna ride off, and I'm like, oh man. But I'm glad we got one. We got the blue shell, which was
Yeah.
such a great
Crazy
reveal
moment.
because
Yeah.
it wasn't like a power up or anything. It was like a crazy sacrificial moment. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "Oh, this is changing the game. Like,
Yeah.
y'all in trouble. It's coming for you."
Right.
And that's like the really good thing about this because it does leave heavy into nostalgia,
Mm-hmm.
but it's so clear that, oh, it's a blue shell. Now he's flying towards you. What's gonna happen? It's like boom, explosion.
Yeah.
If you played Mario Kart, you know what it does, but
Yeah.
everything is just so clear and vivid and amazing. And then it just changes the story up. And I got a great Mario Kart scene. I doubt if there's future versions of Super Mario Bros. If we get another Mario Kart scene,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad that they got to show them tricking out the rides because later on Peach does get like the motorcycle, which was really
Mm-hmm.
cool.
Yeah. So speaking of like, what are your thoughts about like the Donkey Kong arc? Because
Oh,
I
so
I liked it, but I just wasn't really expecting like it to be the place you get carts from. Like I just
yeah,
wasn't thinking like that was going to be the thing. Like that be their whole like that's their whole shtick, right? And then they had the whole Coliseum aspect to it as well. But you know, we got to see everybody that we're used to, almost everybody. We got Diddy Kong, Donkey Kong, and what's his name, Cranky. I think it's
Cranky Kong.
Cranky Gramps or whatever. Yeah, I think it's
God, I
Cranky
feel
Kong.
bad. He's
I'm
from
pretty
the
sure it's Cranky
Donkey
Kong.
Kong Country games. I mean,
Yeah, pretty sure that's what his name is. But you know, what was your thoughts on that arc? Because
I mean,
we got some stuff.
I really liked I really like Donkey Kong, especially when they introduced him and they
Seth
had the
Rogen.
little GK
Yeah.
Donkey Kong. I was kinda like, "Yeah, this is I'm feeling this." He got my vote to beat up Mario too.
Right.
But, I love the way, Donkey Kong was, like, when he power punched him and stuff, it
Mhm.
looked crazy. But that whole fight scene when Mario goes to Cat Mario and they're
Yeah.
fighting, it was probably one of my favorite scenes of the movie,
Mhm.
and I just thought DK's introduction was so good. It made me want a Donkey Kong movie at that point.
Yeah. I feel that. I feel that. Same. I liked just seeing a little bit more of like that world as well because they're all so different, you know? Like
Yeah.
just they're so different and then um even like the places in between, you know, cuz like we got little glimpses of Yoshi's and then we got like off a Rainbow Road after he broke the shell and then Donkey Kong went into the water. We got to see a little bit of the underwater beasts
Yep.
that are always lurking in there. So that was a really really cool thing. And then we like in that moment, Seth Rogen and Chris Pratt had a really really good like chemistry as far as like who they want to be because they both have daddy issues, where they just want their dads to be proud of them and was able to like, get that moment off while also that feeling like, oh, the stakes have been raised because now, like, how are they even going to get close to like catching up in time before, um, Bowser comes in and takes over everything. So, like, little things like that kept keeps the pace moving forward without it getting redundant. Right. So like I really 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 like those things. And then we haven't really talked about this, but the music in this movie is elite, bro, because it's like all the classic songs that we're used to, but they evolve them where like at some points you don't even recognize that it's there, but it's like my favorite one. I started to plot off with it a couple weeks ago, which was like dun 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 dun. That was like my favorite one, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is really a Mario movie, bro. Like, and it's so good, it's so good.
And it's such a creative way where they put it in because
Yeah.
it's just nostalgia, and then kind of like you can't even have those scenes if Mario isn't uh in love with Peach playing on the piano or a pianist.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fact that he even is doing that,
Yeah,
it
Bowser.
allowed. Yeah, Bowser.
Yeah, yeah,
It allowed them to have a scene later with that, dun-dun-dun, and I was like, "Oh, that's
yeah.
so perfect." Like, good
Hmm.
job of thinking, "How can we incorporate this stuff into a movie?"
Yeah. And like we had a whole bunch of callbacks in this movie too, that were really fun. But like those things, like you said, like allow you to not really lose interest in what you're watching, right? Because it was never really about the story; it was just about the journey. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
like it's not a means to an end type of thing, because it's a Mario movie. Like we know who's gonna win in the end. Um,
true.
but like that those things made the final battle or the final arc of this movie an anime, like literally. Like it was like, bro, they put everything you can imagine from the games in this whole sequence that I just wasn't prepared for. Like I wasn't because even the 2D elements that they had in it was really cool, because you bring those 2D elements into like a 3D world that you recognize what it is, but like unless you done seen it before, it might not click. So if you're not like a Mario fan, you might just like you just might be watching a movie.
Yeah.
But like if you spent time playing some of these games, like, and I'm not even like I'm capable for Mario right now, but I haven't played Mario since like Game Boy. So I haven't even played like all the new stuff that everybody else has. I just spent a lot when I did play. I spent a lot of time on it. So I just think the genre was like pretty much perfect, bro. Like the pacing was good, and I think I would definitely watch this multiple times for sure. Um, but what did you think of the final arc and stuff like that? Like, what are some of your favorite things from there?
I mean, my favorite thing is literally when Peach said, like, "Did you think I would marry you?" And then he was like, I don't know what he Bowser just be cracking me up. He said something crazy like, "This wedding is over. I'm
Right,
breaking up with you." And he's
right,
like, "Goodbye to this island." Like, it's within like
yeah,
30 seconds. This man went from "marry me" to "I
yeah,
guess I'm blowing everything up, y'all." And I just
right.
was like, "Thank you." Like, he didn't have no,
He didn't have no
"Oh my
riz.
god." Yeah, yeah. He was just like, "I tried. I guess I'm blowing up everybody. Dude, good luck." Like,
Yeah,
that's definitely my favorite part, but definitely when, Mario got the superstar,
yeah, and
the fact that
Luigi.
it wasn't only him, that
Yeah,
Luigi came and they both became the Super Mario Brothers.
hit that dynamic entry on him.
Yeah, that just made me feel really good because it you get the superstar, they get the iconic music, and,
Yeah,
they're invincible, so
yeah. They
Bowser
took
had
it
no
to the
choice.
real world too. That's what's crazy.
And
Like,
I don't know why the animation for when they're fighting is just so good in this version, and they could have
hmm
gone with a lot of different ways of fighting and punching that could have been, like, less
yeah,
cool.
hmm
Like, Imma just say less cool because it
yeah,
was really good, like, in the future, if they do have more movies,
hmm
like, fight scenes could be awesome.
yeah,
So, I'm glad they
yeah.
went with that direction, and that's probably my favorite part of the last scene. What did you think about the, Bowser launching the bullet at Mario?
The I
The big bullet, the
oh, the
huge
big big bullet. I That was the only part of the movie where I was like, that don't make sense. Like, like that was the only part I was thinking about that too. I just forgot that it was a big bullet. Um,
Yeah,
like yeah, that was the only part that I was just like, okay. I thought like maybe because that happened, like it was gonna cut him off from the real world essentially, and I was gonna like blow it up,
yeah.
but for it to open things up and like send everybody there, I was just like, okay, y'all got it. I don't. I'm not. I'm gonna let this
It
one slide, but it was
it's some
still,
endgame stuff, right? Like, it
yeah.
warped
Like,
them into
and it was just like everybody that needed to be there was there, but everybody that like that would just kind of be in the way, like that would freak other people out, because I mean, people weren't freaked out by a huge freaking fire breathing turtle. Like, what, you know what I'm saying? Like they were just kind of like, all right, like it's just it's a normal thing. Um, but you know, it was like, I guess that's the way I can describe it. But it didn't take me out of what I was watching, because like immediately after that, you know, we saw some epic moments of just like the doubt that Mario had, you know, the fear, and just like, dang, can I really do this? And you just realize like it don't matter. Like I just gotta go. And it was so freaking good. And I just love like all the little Easter eggs that were like as far as like what they named the different stores and restaurants and the different video games. It was obviously like a Mario game, but it just they named it something else. And then like you said, like Mario and Luigi doing their thing was super dope. Like
Mario playing NES.
that's all. Yeah,
Like that's some meta stuff that I never thought I'd see, but it was so cool.
yeah, that was insane, bro. Insane. And it was funny too. Like this
Oh
movie,
yeah.
I didn't think this movie was gonna be as funny as it was, but I think my favorite like character that like had me the most geeked was the little depressed star in the cage. I don't know what that is from. Like I
It's
don't
like a
remember that.
lumen or something from like Mario Galaxies.
Right. I'm sure it's from one of those things, but it was just like had the little cutest voice, and it was like all jolly, but every time it said something it was just like everybody was like, please stop. Like
Some dark depressing stuff. I was like,
yeah.
some parents are gonna have to do some splaining after this movie.
Right, right. And the only other thing was like the lava when they got dropped in the lava. Like Luigi, he shouldn't have made it. Like
Yeah.
his cage started, he would have burnt up before he got down there. If we were really talking about this, is a Mario movie, so it is what it is. Um, but after all that stuff, you know, they become heroes and they move in to Mushroom or
Mushroom
Kingdom,
Kingdom.
Kingdom, yeah. Which is funny because it's like, oh, they getting free rent now versus like struggling back at the
Yeah.
crib. Um, but it's just like, yeah, like what did you think of like Peach's origin story? Now that I'm thinking about it, because how do you explain like Peach being in this place? Like, is there a deep lore that I don't know about that
Yeah.
just like, you know, makes it possible or whatever? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like any Mario game I've ever played. I mean, I
It's
don't
just already there.
I didn't deep dive that enough to who Princess Peach is, or
Right.
even how is
That,
Mario even here. I just did not care.
exactly.
So it was cool that they made some like subtle thing, like maybe she is a human,
Hmm.
but I mean, essentially the green pipes can be anywhere in any different galaxies and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
uh, it's it's confusing, but at least we know Princess Peach. She's clearly not a toad.
Yeah.
She's something else, but she's the princess of the Mushroom Kingdom. And I think
Yeah.
it's a really nice way. It also shows why she's so athletic and can do all this stuff because
Right.
she grew up in the Mushroom Kingdom and pretty
Hmm.
much trained and did all this type of stuff before she was
Yeah.
Princess Peach.
She's
And
super
I think they
capable.
did a yeah, I think they did an amazing job with Peach because it's a very, very smart and clever way to quickly get Mario up to speed on how to
Hmm.
traverse everything in this universe, talk about the power ups, explain it, and get him ready to essentially fight Bowser.
Right.
And I just really think I always say this in these podcasts. I love it when movies feel like they thought out how is the audience going to receive
Hmm.
Mario becoming Super Mario or doing all these amazing things quickly. And
Right.
then like, are we gonna explain him knowing how to use power-ups, dodging it? Don't get hit, Mario. Like
Yeah.
that's clearly a video game thing, but you know, Princess Peach has to explain these power-ups, and I just love those
Hmm.
sequences. So then the rest of the movie doesn't seem as silly as it would be if they didn't, you know?
Yeah. That's facts. That's facts. Um, let's see. Do I got anything else? What do you think is the future of these movies? I guess because I'm seeing now like online they're already
Man,
talking about Waluigi and Wario, um, possibly Daisy, or I've seen a timeline where they got like a Donkey Kong movie too.
yeah.
But you know, what do you think? What do you think it goes from here?
Yeah, for sure. One thing about this movie, I definitely feel like it's Nintendo's like baseline of they want to get into this big type of
Movie
budget
space.
films,
Yeah.
and they wanted to make sure Super Mario Brothers, one of their biggest IPs, does well.
And it
And
did too. It
yeah,
broke records.
like it should have. I mean, come on, an
Hmm.
animated Mario movie.
Yeah.
But I definitely, after seeing this movie, for sure, I think Donkey Kong Country would be the one on the list. I think
Hmm.
it'd be the easiest. You'd have three likable characters.
That's
Uh,
Rogan.
yeah, and I think you'd have the funnies, you'd have the action, and that would
Hmm.
be the safest next movie to launch
Yeah.
from Nintendo. And then probably it would be another Super Mario movie,
Yeah.
involving Yoshi's Island,
Yeah.
and that was the end credit scenes, which I noticed took a while to get to.
Yeah.
The theater was empty by the
Yeah.
time we got to it,
Right.
but a Yoshi egg was left in New York City,
Yep.
which I'm assuming is going to be the story of Yoshi's Island, where Yoshi is going to try to make it back to his people in a way. And
Mm-hmm.
that would be really, really great because no matter what, as soon as you throw Yoshi on that screen, people are going to go to
I'm a
the
big
theater.
geek. That's my favorite character. I love Yoshi. Um, but yeah, I'm excited for like possible Luigi's Mansion too, because they teased it a little bit in this movie
Yeah.
initially when he first got captured, and I was waiting for the ghosts to start popping up, but all we got were Shy Guys. So maybe once they get their business off the ground and Luigi's like, all right, I'm gonna step out, and do my own thing. That's when he'll get his business as far as like getting rid of ghosts going, because I really like Luigi in this jump, and we don't get a lot from him, but when he's there, like he's there, and it's all Gucci, all Gucci. Um, but I know I gave my score already for this joint. Chris, what you giving it, bro? Don't
I'm gonna
do
give
it.
it an 8.
Oh my.
I'm gonna give it an 8.
Oh.
I really like the movie. I think it's a very good movie. I would definitely watch it again.
Yeah.
I do feel like they played it crazy safe. I
Mm.
feel like it is a great movie. Like, kids will love it,
Yeah.
but it just feels like they purposely didn't want to like deep dive into a crazy story of Mario. They just wanted to establish Mario, establish the Mushroom Kingdom,
Hmm.
and establish like Diddy Kong.
Yeah.
And oh, here's some Mario Kart. Boom, Mario saves the day. They're the Super Mario Bros. Like, I feel like that was the movie.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad idea because I know if Super Mario flops, probably their future plans
It cut
are in
short.
danger.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it kind of reminds me of how the Sonic movie, that was the wrong choice, and even the look of Sonic was the wrong choice initially,
Yeah.
and the fans had to correct it. And I think with this one, they wanted to make sure they had the tone, the comedy, the action,
Hmm.
the animation correct to
Yeah.
do a movie like this. And my main issues with this one is like you get Super Mario, but for the journey, like part of a Super Mario game, it's a really weird knock. Part of a Super Mario game is literally the journey to save Peach or the
Yeah.
journey to save Luigi in this case.
Right.
And after they train, we just get them kind of like walking across the Mushroom Kingdom.
Hmm.
And they're really just walking and looking,
Yeah.
and like
Getting to
I
see the
feel like they're,
world.
yeah, you get to see it. I feel like that was the perfect version where you could have saw the different angles of when they go into Super Mario vision and they do like the levels
Okay.
and keep doing like different levels of that. I would have
Right.
loved that scene because it felt like they quickly fast paced the movie to boom, now we're at Donkey Kong.
Hmm.
And the Donkey Kong movie
Okay, I see what you're
versus
saying.
Super Mario movie,
Yeah.
it's cool, but after that Mario Kart scene, I felt like this was where we were gonna get a little bit longer arc of Donkey Kong and Mario really growing to either hate each other, rivals,
Hmm.
uh, but they fell off the Rainbow Road and got lost in the ocean, and then was just like, "Oh, I just wish my dad took me seriously," and I
Yeah.
was just like,
I was there for it.
I was just like, "This is like." I'm
Yeah.
asking a lot because it's a kids movie,
Yeah.
but it's just like I feel like right here you're introducing Donkey Kong for like a big reason,
Mm-hmm.
and this could have been like a big thing between Mario and Donkey Kong growing together and then them fighting out. But it was just like this small little detour on their way to save Peach. So I was just kind of
Okay.
like, ah, I'm not a big fan of this Donkey Kong arc because I felt like Donkey Kong is Mario's rival.
Yeah.
And then I kind of wish, it's a really weird thing. I kind of wish I got more Luigi in this. Like
Yeah.
off screen, seeing Luigi do a little stuff, still get captured by Bowser or anything.
Hmm.
But just Luigi doing more, or like you
Having
said,
banter with Bowser, probably.
having banter with Bowser, doing Bowser's castle, like doing Bowser's castle just to ultimately lose the Bowser in a fight or something like that.
Right.
And then still have the same movie,
Hmm.
because I feel like Super Mario Brothers, Luigi's kinda left out in it.
Isn't that how it always goes, though?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You coulda had a side movie with Luigi stuff while we're also watching Mario stuff, and
Yeah.
then ultimately at the end, when Luigi comes through in the clutch, and then they ultimately beat Bowser, boom, there we
Yeah.
go. We're off to the races. Because kinda what we were getting at is it kinda feels like we don't have enough for a Luigi's Mansion movie off of this one.
Yeah.
But, like, maybe in the future, they'll go to Luigi's Mansion. If they woulda gave him a little bit more bread in it,
Hmm.
I felt like we woulda came across, like, dang, Luigi and Mario are super awesome, but I felt like only Mario got the mega shine. So,
Yeah.
very, very good movie. Definitely would watch again.
Hmm.
Bowser is definitely the best. He kills it.
Yeah.
Uh, and I think it's gonna stay at an 8. I don't think it has enough to get to the 9.
Okay. I mess with that. Um, Even though I think it's a 10 because it's must see, but that's just me. Um, if you got me thinking though, so like if the arcs were like if the training arc in Mushroom Kingdom was the final thing for us to go to um, Donkey Kong, and you wanted to see like those little like you go from this plate, go from this spot to this spot to the castle, and then
Yeah.
you beat the castle, and then the next one you go to the next world or whatever. Like having a big bad in between that moment to prep us for that probably would have helped, but
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know traverse time. Like I don't know how they would a different way they would get from the inside of the fish to to the final battle scene essentially.
Yeah,
Right?
I just don't like that part at all. Like, they fell off
Yeah.
into the water.
Hmm.
And to me, I thought it was gonna be
I like
kinda
it as a
like,
shock factor. Like I wasn't expecting that.
yeah, from the blue shell for me, but
Yeah.
it's just kinda like because Donkey Kong is Mario's rival, I thought that was gonna be, like,
Hmm.
some more actual character development between, like, them building up that rivalry other than, like,
When he
oh, they're
first beat him.
yeah, because Donkey
Hmm.
Kong lost to him and it's like, "Oh, I let you win."
Yeah.
But then at the end of it, it's just like, "Oh, my dad just doesn't understand me," and then it's like,
Hmm.
oh, okay, I feel you. My dad doesn't understand me too. And it's like, bro, this
Yeah.
dude is he threw barrels at you in the video. Like, you cannot let them be just friends right off the bat. And that was
Yeah.
my only like small thing. And I don't like the fact that them getting into the water ultimately doesn't really lead to anything. They just ride
Hmm.
the barrel to the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah.
Like, the blue shell could have just took out
Broke the
someone
road.
else
Yeah.
and broke the road, and then they just go on their way to the Mushroom Kingdom, and they don't have the army, and we still get the same stuff, like,
Right.
to me. And
Yeah.
all I'm talking about the traversing thing is they show them go to the different places,
Right.
but it's all within, like, 30 seconds, maybe 20 seconds,
Yeah.
and I'm just thinking, like, you
The
coulda
B
had
roll.
longer, yeah, a cool 5 minutes of them slowly doing stuff that we seen, hopping on
Hmm.
the clouds, hopping in the ocean, the scuba diving, even, like, other
Yeah.
callbacks, like Super Mario
They
Sunshine.
were definitely grounded in that jump.
Yeah. Yeah, that was weird. They were grounded, and, like, even
Yeah.
the Mario hop-ups, like, they coulda just kept them doing that,
Yeah.
and because they really saved that reel for when it was one of your favorite parts,
Yeah.
Donkey Kong and Mario get super powered and they go
Hmm.
crazy on their way to Bowser.
Right.
And I'm just like, why didn't we see more of that
Hmm.
earlier? Like it's a cool shot. Show me some more.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah, I get it. I get that. I get that for sure. Um, I don't got anything else other than nope. That's it. That's all I got. You got anything? Any final takes for this, Jack? Before we get into what we geeked about this week?
I'm pretty positive they're gonna have a better movie the next time. I'm
Yeah.
I'm almost dead certain I would bet money
Yeah.
the next movie they do in the Mario universe, if it is Yoshi's Island,
Oh, I think Yoshi's Island gonna go crazy.
I think it will probably be one of the highest grossing animated movies ever.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
and we'll see how this one's doing. I'm pretty sure it's got to do good
It's number one
because
right now, from what I
yeah,
see.
it's spring break, everything. Kids are
Hmm.
gonna love this movie. I mean,
Yeah.
Sonic, you done lost the crown at this point because you we got to see.
They went Super
But
Saiyan and still wasn't enough.
I don't think so. Yeah, that's
It
what.
still wasn't enough. Like I don't feel the same. I ain't, we didn't. It's not the same buzz that the second movie had with the addition of Knuckles and Eggman and stuff again. So it's like it's different.
Peaches, that song, bro,
Yeah.
that had us laughing in the theater.
Yeah.
It was such a good song that little kids are gonna annoy every single teacher in their grade
Yeah.
for the next year.
Yeah.
Oh my, peaches, peaches, peach. Parents are gonna be annoyed, so
Yeah.
it's gonna do really well. And I just think the next version of this will probably be one of the best animated movies we've ever seen. So congratulations,
Okay.
Nintendo and who was it?
Illumination.
Illumination. Y'all really killed it.
Yeah.
And Jack Black,
Yeah.
thank you so much for being Bowser.
Chris Pratt, thank you for not being bad.
Oh yeah, and last thing, I love the fact that he didn't do the Italian voice the whole time, but
Yeah,
it
and
was
it was
like
a gimmick.
mixed. That
Yeah.
was such a I don't know, genius creative decision because at first
Mhm.
I was like, I don't know about if I can.
Yeah.
So I love that change too or decision.
Mhm. Facts. Facts. All right, Chris, man, what you geeked about this week, Brody?
Man,
Go ahead and
I
say
ain't
it.
gonna lie.
Go
I
ahead and
ain't gonna
say it.
lie. I am going to be a dad this week, and
Oh.
I don't even know what to do. Like I'm waiting for Mario to come on streaming platform so we could just watch that endlessly.
Yeah.
But my first kid, super geeked about that.
Congrats.
Uh, and I can't think of anything else because it really
Hey.
feels like one of those things in life where wow, it's really here.
Time
So
flew.
yeah, I'm super geeked about being a dad and
Yeah.
ah, it's go time. That's all I'm thinking. It's go time. So
There you go. There you go.
what you geeked about, G?
I'm geeking about Succession. You go from that to that. That's funny. Um,
Yes,
Succession is
Succession.
finally is has finally started. It's finally really started because the name of the show is we're literally about to see it, and this is the final season. I'm not going to say what happened just in case anybody's still watching it, but you know, this is the start of something. Hopefully, that's great. This is a show, but like Succession is already a show that's not like boom in your face. I can't believe this happened. I can't believe this happened. This is just like real messy work life, awkward conversation that I just enjoy. Like I just really enjoy this show. But other than that, that's pretty much it. Snowfall going crazy, as I keep saying. We got some animes that's dropping. Demon Slayer is back. Hell's Paradise dropped too. And then what else we got? I think that is it. Playoffs this weekend.
Play in
Play in
this
for
week.
yeah.
Playoffs this weekend.
Right. Um for NBA, and I
And
can
call your bets
officially
now.
say I'm streaming again. on Twitch. I'm back. I've done it secretly for like a couple months, maybe a
Like
month.
back in rhythm.
Yeah, it's a rhythm, but it's like it's an ugly rhythm because I'm streaming like in the most random times at night. Like it's just the last thing I do. I just get on the game and I might as well stream it. So I'm back. I'm back on that. Hopefully I'll start finishing some games soon. So in the Hogwarts grind, barely even touched that game, but we here getting gold guns, trying to beat LeBron's record in 2K, and that's it. So we appreciate y'all for tuning in once again this week, man. If you didn't already, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button on YouTube, leave a rating on your favorite audio platforms, and yeah, we'll see y'all next week, man. Stay geeked. Peace.
Later, y'all.